I had a splendid voice. In fact, I'd sing in opera if they'd give me my choice. I wrote to Oscar Hammerstein that I would be his star. He said, come down and sing for me, and I'll see how good you are. And I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months. No, I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months. I sang the wise old owl, and he left the room at once. So I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months.
Welcome to episode 6. My guest this week is Brian Matthews Murphy. Brian is an actor and filmmaker from Bray in County Wicklow. Brian is a legend of folk hero standards in the independent film industry in Ireland. He is a well-known face in our screens, and over the years he has amassed an impressive CV of screen credits. He is also the founder of No Wifi. No Wifi is the North Wicklow Filmmakers, which is a group for aspiring filmmakers of all levels who want to get involved in the magic of movie making. In this conversation, Brian tells us the reasons why he left one career to pursue acting. He also discusses the importance of No Wifi and why he set it up. You can find out more about Brian at the links in the podcast description. If you like what you hear, please like it, and if you know anyone who would be interested in entering this episode, please send them the link. Without further ado, here is Brian Matthews Murphy.
What is it that you do that you're best known for?
I think the thing I'm most known for is as coordinator on No Wifi. I'd love it to be an acting role I did, but I know that I've affected more people through No Wifi than I have through my acting.
What's with No Wifi?
No Wifi is North Wicklow Filmmakers. I started it in 2016, really because I never went to drama school. I never went to film school. I didn't have much of a network in the business. I just really decided to quit my job and become an actor. So I didn't really know where to start. But I figured there was a lot of other people probably in the same boat as me, even just in the Bray, North Wicklow area. So I decided to reach out in all the Facebook forums I could find, not even filmmaking forums, just every open forum, Bray people, stuff like that, put notices out. Anybody interested in filmmaking, I'm setting up this group, would you like to join? And just lucky enough, within 3 or 4 weeks, we decided to meet up in person after setting up the Facebook group. And there just happened to be a writer, a director, a camera guy, a sound op, and 2 actors there at that meeting. So, that's enough to make a film.
And what was the next step then? From you get the meeting together and everyone meets. You got your writer, you got your director, your producer, your editor, and 2 actors. What was the next step?
The next step really was working for the first time on what was a proper open collaboration, of discussing what it is we actually wanted to do together, the type of roles that the actors wanted to play, the type of stuff that the writer wanted to write, and try and find some sort of common ground there. And really to see what was achievable, because at the end of the day, we had no money, no budget. So the first one I worked on with No Wifi was called The Debt, which was basically a sort of a gangster thing set in a pub, because we had access to a pub. We were all of that sort of age and background that we know that world to a slight extent, you know. So it just seemed like a natural thing to do. And we just steamrolled from there, making, I think in the last 7 years since we set up, we've made 60 projects.
Wow.
Involving over 120 different people in different roles. It's just snowballed. And like a lot of projects I'm not involved in, people just sort of ran on their own steam. And that's really what's great to see.
Mm. It sounds a bit like the Kevin Smith's first movie, Clerks. He didn't have a budget, but he had a convenience store. He knew someone who could hold a lightning, who could do a bit of lightning electrician. He knew someone who could hold a sound boom. He thought he knew a couple of guys who could act, and he had the grains of a script. And between them all, they put it together, and that was the 1994 independent smash hit Clerks. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. That's what No Wi-Fi is. Is that everybody? It's no budget. It has a group of people all willing to work with one another collaboratively and creatively for fun and learn stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the main thing. It's a lot of people's literal first time on set. A lot of our stuff is first time directors, first time writers. It actually gave me the confidence and the support to start writing, directing, producing my own stuff. Because like as an actor, it can be sort of solitary, and it's almost a waiting game, waiting for somebody to give you a role to play. But because I knew I had the support there, I'd made friends within the group who were directors, who were great DOPs, producers. It meant I could think, well, what role do I want to play? So I wrote a monologue for myself. And then from that monologue, I turned that into a short film. And then we made the film. Like it was as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple of your shorts, and the word that springs to mind, I think they're excellent quality, but the word that springs to mind is resourcefulness. I think it's a talent that everyone in your group has. Some of them, like obviously you're saying it's no budget, but it looks as if it could have had a budget of a couple of thousand, maybe 100,000 to shoot some of these shorts.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in looking for free or low cost production values. What looks amazing that you have access to? Like, for an example, when Bray Head, anyone who knows Bray Head is the mountain at the top of the beach, that went on fire. It caught fire, and it was on fire for weeks. And the place looked like a literal hellscape. So I wrote a short film, Burning Plains, because I knew we could go there, shoot that, and it's free production value. It looks amazing. It's just about harnessing what you have access to. Like, there's a lot of times people will try and simplify things, thinking, well, I can't achieve anything, or it has to be set in a house, or it has to be set in a pub. If that's what you have access to, then great. But chances are, somebody who may have a shop or work in a quirky area, an office building, stuff like that. It's really just sort of seeing what's around you and what is accessible.
What is the community of North Wicklow been like? Have they been supportive of you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. We meet every second Sunday in Frank Duff's in Bray. They're hugely supportive. We filmed in the Mermaid. They've been brilliant. We've had screenings in the Mermaid of our stuff as well. Maison Molly we filmed in, and the Harbour Bar, of course. I think that's used in an awful lot of stuff, but they're always hugely supportive of independent productions, especially since they use the Harbour Bar especially for high-end productions, so they know the value of what it's worth, but they'll still allow people like us to come in and make our films there.
Great. So you said a lot of your crew members, or your members, should I say, they're first timers. What's the feedback from them with regards their first time, say, being on a film set and taking that leap of faith? What's the kind of feedback you get from them?
I think excitement is the first thing, which is the most important thing. A lot of the times, I'm a big believer that like you get what you put in. So if we have a shoot, I'm very open for anybody to come along and help out on the day. Because you need hands on set, whether it's to move a light, whether it's to do clapperboard, take down editor's notes, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of newer people to the industry will come on set with us for the day and sort of help out and just see how things are run. And generally, they'll have an idea of something they want to do. And then we support them to build on that idea and have the confidence to just go out and shoot it. Because they have now made friends on set with DOPs, with directors, with ADs. So they now have a network. So really, it's all about what you put in. You turn up on set, help out. They will help you on. I help you on yours. You help me on mine, type of thing.
Yeah. You've mentioned the word network a couple of times since we begun. Can you explain the importance to the listeners? How important a network is?
It is the most important thing in filmmaking, is finding your people, finding people who are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah.
And people who can sort of supplement your skill set as much as anything. And even just people to talk to. Because you can talk to your family about these sort of things, but it's not the same as talking about somebody who's interested in the same things, has the same sort of on-set experiences. Like I have zero interest in cameras. I know nothing about lenses or any of that sort of stuff, but I have great friends now who know all about that type of thing. So anytime I'm producing a short, I go straight to them. They can help me with that end of things. And that's why we end up with such good looking films and good sounding films, because there's no ego there. It's I know what I don't know and they know what they don't know. So it's sort of all working together.
And how have you seen No Wi-Fi grow from the initial first meeting to what it's at today? Like, say, with regards your previous members and current members, have they gone on to work in other projects, say, professionally, or are they still? Do you still have the same loyal bunch around?
It is very much a rotational thing. There's a lot of people start off with the group and then they get their first credits on their CV and then they get more credits and more credits. And there's a few people who have been with the group for a few years, but have just moved on to much, much bigger things, huge, like top end projects. And No Wi-Fi was their first credits. So they're very supportive of the group. And they help where they can. So it's sort of like a mentoring side of it as well. But really, most of the projects are driven by newer members. So people come in enthusiastic with new ideas. So it's always on a constant rotation, which the fact that we meet in Bray, where Bray Institute of Technology is, or Bray Institute of Further Education is, means there's students coming through all the time who want experience outside of their student films.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that you can't underestimate the importance and the significance of your first couple of credits on your CV, whether they be professional or amateur. They're very important, certainly in the filmmaking world. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That the first steps are the hardest to take. Practically speaking, getting on set for the first time is the most difficult thing. And psychologically, knowing that it's something that you can do, that it's achievable. Like, the reason I didn't act until my mid-30s is because it really just never occurred to me that it's a thing that people like me can do. Even though I always lived right around the corner from Ardmore Studios, and I'd walk past it every day going downtown. It never occurred to me that I could one day work in there.
Mm.
You know, you would have the dream just as you're walking past. Oh, well, a casting director might see me and say, "Oh, randomly, we need someone that looks exactly like you." It pops into your head and then it's gone again because it doesn't seem like a real thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it was only when I hit my mid-30s that I thought I have to actually scratch that itch. Because my daughter was going to secondary school at the time, and she had to pick her subjects for the junior cert. And she kept asking me, what should I do? What subject should I do? Like, and I kept saying, well, you can do whatever you like. Because once you want to do something, you can do anything you like. But then, like, I thought to myself, I'm saying that, but I'm not showing that. So really, it's what example do you want to set? And I wanted to set the example to her that it's not just about work for the sake of work. It's if you want to do something, you have to just go all in and try to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
So I quit my job within the next week. I was working as a gardener on and off for about 10 years. And I think it just got to the stage as well where physically it's demanding and I wasn't enjoying it. So as well as what example do I want to set, it's also what do I want to do for myself, really. And I figured if I was going to do it, I'd have to go 100% in to do it. Quit my job and give it the full focus.
And can you remember your first auditions and stuff like that? If you'd never been in the sphere of performance before that point, I'd say auditions must have been a real interesting learning curve for you, were they?
Oh yeah, yeah. My first audition was for a student film. I can't even remember the name of it now, but it was just such a, like, even turning up and seeing all the people there waiting ahead of me and everybody sort of mumbling along with their lines. I was like, I didn't even know whether I was able to bring my script in with me, that was I supposed to learn the whole script off. It's such a new thing. And I was questioning myself the whole time during that audition. I didn't get the part, but strangely enough, I was doing extras work on Vikings 2 years later, and they were doing a roll call at the start, and my name came up, and I heard a woman's voice going, "Oh," and I was like, "What is up with that?" She came running over to me, the 17-year-old who happened to be at my audition for that student film, loved my audition and had written a role in a short film specifically for me because of that audition. And couldn't find me for 2 years. They'd lost my details.
Oh no!
So that was our first connection with me. And Float was the name of the short film, and it's still one of my favorite roles.
Okay, great. At no point say, this is what I'm finding amazing, that I didn't know. I've known you for a while, but I didn't know that this was something that I'm going to have to go and do this. But at no point say, did you do youth drama or anything like that?
No, I didn't. I did a bit of extras work on Vikings. I'd use my holiday days and stuff like that, purely because I liked the show, and sure, it's only been made down the road, so I queued up with everybody else to get my picture taken outside the Liffey building, I think. It was, but I queued up outside like everybody else, got my picture taken, filled in my details. They'd call me I'd call in sick to work the next day, or if they gave me a bit more notice, I'd use my holiday days.
Yeah.
But I did that for a couple of months and then thought, well, I'm enjoying this, but I want to be nearer the action. I want to be not exactly front and center because I don't have that need to be like the lead in a show or a TV, film, but to be on set, to be playing a character, that is what the real need grew in me, especially when I was doing that extras work.
So, kind of being a gardener, you said you did gardening work. That requires a certain amount of creativity. Do you think your acting was an extension of that, where you saw maybe the gardening was coming to an end for you, and maybe this was the next area where your creativity came in through performance and through filmmaking?
Yeah, for sure. Because even before I started writing scripts, I had a notebook with ideas of characters I'd like to play and where they might fit in a story.
Mm-hmm.
That was before I didn't know how to write a script, you know. But like I say, through working with people, good writers, good producers, I sort of gained the confidence to turn some of those ideas into more concrete short films or whatever.
And you produced some of these through No Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Any of my independent stuff I make through No Wi-Fi. Purely because there's great people there, and it's all about supporting each other.
Yeah.
Everything I make has the No Wi-Fi logo attached. It's up on North Wicklow Filmmakers YouTube channel, along with a load of other really talented people's work.
So, and how have you progressed now? Say, so you're in the trust of the acting and the writing and the directing, and No Wi-Fi's up. How did you see your arc progress? Where did it bring you?
Mostly, it brought me confidence. It went from doing student films and featured extras work to being lead or co-lead in my own short films. Which in turn led to feature film work because I worked with directors and short films that I made who went on to make feature films like Richard Waters. And through working with him, I got a role in his latest film, Bring Out the Fear. And that was because he saw what I could do and just called me up and said, there's a role, would you like it? I said, absolutely delighted, because I knew what he could do and he knew what I could do. So we didn't have to go through the dance of the auditions and the callbacks and all that sort of stuff.
And that comes back to what you're saying again, is meeting people who are on the same wavelength as you.
Yeah, for sure. He knew I was a big horror fan. We've had many a chat about it, and it's because I've written horror films myself. So we had the same likes. We're the same sort of vibe, you know. And now he had produced features before No Wi-Fi, so but people like him really understood what we were trying to achieve and were so helpful in helping us get to where we are. Like I say, we've made over 60 projects of all varying styles and levels.
Great. So what's the latest thing you've been working on? Is it No Wi-Fi related, or is it independent of that?
My most recent thing was I just finished a Tullamore Dew commercial a couple of months ago, which I'm looking forward. It's supposed to be out in the American market, so I'm not even sure if it'll be seen over here. Hopefully it will. I was big budget, top level people working on that. Other than that, I made a short film, Mad Cows from Planet Moo, which is 1950s sci-fi pastiche, like B-movie style. We shot it in black and white and did the corny accents and all that sort of stuff. Because again, I've come to the conclusion that I just want to make fun things.
Yeah.
It's nice to delve deep into the drama for roles, but I love making genre stuff, just good fun, schlocky, horror, sci-fi, that sort of thing.
Roger Corman, kind of, fun.
My hero.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting off all this. I was looking through the short films, and I couldn't keep up with the amount of genres that were in there. And I was kind of going, wow, that's a sci-fi, that's a horror, there's a thriller, there's a gangster, there's a what's it? And I was going right through. I was like, God, it's like the Corman factory there, but everything that's being produced, which is great. And there's obviously an appetite for that as well. There's people who will go and see that or download it on the computer.
Yeah, for sure. One of our most popular ones is Angelic Doom, which was a horror film that I wrote. That's the one that started off as a monologue because I noticed there was something missing on my show reel, something a bit sinister was missing there that I wanted to show a side of myself. So I wrote the monologue, then I wrote the short film. Then I went to a friend of mine, Arthur Janowski, who's a great director and DOP, and asked him if he'd be interested in directing it. And he was. So I said to him, I would like to play this part. The rest of it, you can do what you like with. You have complete control over the rest of it as long as I'm playing that part. Because it's sort of what it's a means to an end for me. But that turned out amazing. And I am currently researching and writing a feature-length version of that.
Oh, great. And what spurred that idea to make it a feature length?
I've a huge fascination with Irish mythology, and I don't think it's been delved into enough in mainstream Irish film and TV.
Yeah.
Through my research, just coming across so many interesting stories of the Tuatha De Danann and the Fear Bolg, and there's so many great characters that could be brought to life. But my angle on it is that Irish people as a whole are used to being religious. They're used to giving that faith to something. But our generation and like my daughter's generation aren't religious. They don't have that faith. So where does the energy and belief from that faith go? And the old gods, the Tuatha De Danann, see that as like almost a gap in the market for them to build up their power. So they start to come back and interfere with modern Ireland.
Because you're right, there is a whole fascinating landscape there of mythology that just seems to be kind of brushed over or ignored, or if creatively it's quite fertile. I imagine, between graphic novels, animated films, short films, whatever. There's a whole store, and even if you look at maybe what's been produced in Northern Ireland, Game of Thrones, I'm surprised there hasn't been more of a drive from, say, the mainstream in particular to produce more of this work in their own vision.
Absolutely, like even the most popular stories that we all know, Brian Boru and the Brown Bull of Cooley and Children of Lear. Not much of that has even Cuchulainn. How has there never been a Cuchulainn big budget film or TV show made? There's so much stuff there, and most of the stuff that I make or write has tinges of that in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe, now I could be wrong on this, but I have heard of two projects that were launched in the last 20 years with regards to Cuchulainn. There was one back in around 2009, 2010 time. There was a young director who got the money to develop the idea, and obviously it's stuck in development hell. The most recent one I heard was, I think it was Ronan Bennett, but Michael Fassbender was attached to it as well. They were location scouting in the north, in around the north, Donegal, Derry, that area. At one particular point, just before I think it was 2018 or 2019, they were looking around, and nothing's been heard of that since either.
Yeah, that'd be a real shame. 'Cause that's pretty perfect for that type of thing. But the pandemic shut down a lot of projects, really. Even I was due to produce a horror anthology with the No Wi-Fi group. We were in pre-production in February 2020 and about to start filming in summer 2020. And that just put the kibosh on that, really, because after 2 years, people have moved on, different projects. I will hope to reignite it one day because I have a real passion for that specific project. There's a scope for something there, especially at this sort of level where you're trying to make a feature film, but make it manageable. I think an anthology is a nice way to do that. Because you get 5 different writers, 5 different directors. As long as a couple of people are keeping an eye over the overall thing, it's very achievable.
Yeah.
With the right organization and with the right drive.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. When I was looking through the list of the short films that you've made on over the years on YouTube, that did spring into my mind actually. You had a whole list of movies, and I thought, God, you could make an anthology out of this if you could find some sort of a link to put them together. What sprang into my mind was the Richard Linklater movie Slacker. Just popped into my mind. Now, I know it was written by one person, but again, it's the vignettes, it's the anthology of vignettes that makes that movie stand out. I thought that's something that's very achievable for your group down the road.
It very much is. Yeah, and it's sort of like a stepping stone to making a full-blown feature. So that it's not, all the pressure isn't on this one big thing. It can be broken into very manageable parts, really. Yeah.
It's even like if you think of something like Pulp Fiction. When Pulp Fiction was, although it's one movie, it's all linked. It's not an anthology, but that was originally sourced from different scripts that had been written at particular stages. Roger Avery had written, I think it's known as the Gold Watch in the movie Pulp Fiction, but it was originally Pandemonium Reigns. That they found, and they managed to kind of patch it all together. And then the other stories was the stuff that Quentin Tarantino would have wrote or something, where he got them. Were they short stories originally? I'm not too sure, but it does strike me that that potential is there with your group to achieve that type of film.
Yeah, the key is finding the connection point so that it's not just literally 4 short films tacked onto each other. And horror especially is a big area for, like, horror anthologies go back to the beginning, basically.
Yeah. You go back even to the serials that they used to have, like back in the 30s, 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Serials. Yeah. Absolutely fascinating. So what's the plans for you in the future? What are you working towards now? You said your feature film script, so that's obviously in pre-production.
That's I haven't finished the script yet, so that's a longer term focus is the feature. I've got two short films that are in pre-production at the moment as well. One I wrote and one written by a friend of mine called Paul. He wrote the script and I'm producing it and acting in it. Purdue, it's called. And that will be filmed next month. 5 minutes or so. So it's a pretty straightforward one to film, even if it's not a straightforward story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just saying, it's there that it can be done. So when you get these projects finished, what's your options for release then? Is it strictly YouTube, or do you have other outlets for them?
A lot depends on the project. I think that the project itself will sort of tell you what the best thing to do with it is. I
Yeah.
find that comedies, especially if they're like 1 minute, 2 minute sketch type things, throw them up on YouTube and share them to death is probably the best thing to do with them. I'm a big believer in local Irish festivals, like the Underground Festival that Dave
Byrne, of course, previous
runs.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah, or the Waterford Festival, Fastnet, anything like that you can actually turn up to.
Yeah.
And really get the benefit of people seeing your work and people who you're likely to work with seeing your work.
Yeah,
I think is a big thing. And it comes back to networking again. It's turning up, watching other people's films, shaking hands, talking about your films, talking about their films, and sort of connecting on a human level without just like sending an email saying, hire me, please. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a lot of European festivals and stuff like that that don't even really have screenings. So I question the benefit of something that you can't attend or you don't know specifically that people you want to impress will get to see it.
Great. It's interesting that you're mentioning the festivals. We're coming into festival time now. So what has your experience been of, say, the independent film festival circuit in Ireland and in Europe? Is it accessible for filmmakers, or is it beneficial? I think is probably a better.
It's hugely beneficial, and it's getting more accessible because it's almost like a tiered system where you nearly work your way through the smaller festivals to get the kudos to apply for the bigger festivals.
Okay.
Because I've put stuff in for the likes of Galway before, the Film Flat, and I think you almost need to be known there to get accepted in. Now, maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but I'm sort of working on from the outside for all of my career, really. I've worked for other people, of course, and with other people outside of my own projects. But I'm coming from very much an outsider's point of view. And I think some of the smaller festivals are very much match that point of view. Dublin Comedy Festival's great. And the horror festivals down in Cork are great. I've had short films in there before. And stuff like that, that's really feels achievable. Sometimes a lot of these things don't feel achievable.
Yeah. And like, what's the feeling like? So when you go to a festival, it's not a partisan crowd. It's a room of strangers watching your work. What does that feel like? That must be terrifying.
It can be great or it can be terrible, depending on the film and the crowd, really. Um, we recently had Mad Cows from Planet Moo being shown at the May the 4th Film Festival, which Dave also runs down in Port McGee. An amazing festival, so much fun. I'd advise anybody to go down there.
Yeah.
A lot of the crowd were other filmmakers rather than hunters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the vibe was very much watching and almost taking notes. Whereas we've had screenings before. The Mermaid Art Centre in Bray have First Mondays, they call it, where they show an art house film or an independent feature film. But they did show our short films before the main feature.
Oh, great.
And so the crowd were in to watch this film, but they got to see ours as a bonus. So that was the real tester, to see the reaction of people who aren't there to support it necessarily, but like independent film.
Yeah.
And that they've been the really enjoyable reactions.
Yeah, because that's the kind of impression I get of it is that, you know, it's not like TIFF in Toronto or like Cannes, where it's just your punters off the street who love cinema going to a lot of these and I'm including the main festivals in Ireland here now. Is this? It's like it's industry people going to the movies, sitting down, and next thing you know, as soon as it comes out, The Notebook comes out, and like, oh, you know,
yeah, which is understandable, because I do the same thing. If I watch a short film I love, I'm really enjoying it. I'm paying specific attention to who made it, who the actors are, and it's hard to turn that part of your brain off.
Yeah. When it's your passion, it's extremely hard.
Yeah, of course. And when you love networking and connecting as much as I do, especially, it's right. How can I connect to that person? Especially if they're in the room, you look around for them and make sure you introduce yourself and have a chat to them. Not necessarily doing the hard sell or anything like that, but just, again, talking to them on a human level. Just enjoyed the film. My one's coming up later on if you want to hang around for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It strikes me as the kind of thing that it's friends for life kind of thing. You know, you go to these things and you're involved in this industry, and win, lose, or draw, the thing that you're guaranteed to take out of it are friends for life. You meet really good mates through this.
Yeah, because you go through the fires together. If that's not too highfalutin or too over the top, you really, like, you could spend 13, 14, 15 hours a day over a weekend making a short film together. And that'll sort of make or break you relationship wise.
Yeah.
And you get to see who you work well with and who you don't. People on the same sort of attitude or vibe as yourself.
Yeah. It's kind of what I have a theory in my mind here. You know, when I was a young lad, I started up in amateur dramatics, and amateur dramatics was a huge thing back in the day. However, it's beginning to, I wouldn't say it's beginning to die out, but it's definitely on a decline. And people are talking about it's the end, and, you know, there'll be no more amateur dramatic groups. But I think what it's done, it was certainly with the advance of technology. Like you said, you can make a movie on your mobile phone. Earlier on, before we pressed record. So what I'm thinking here is that amateur dramatics is still there, but it's under the term amateur cinematics, and it's just as passionate and as dedicated and as driven by good storylines and acting as what, say, the professional cinematics is like. Would that be a correct assertion, or am I talking shite?
No, I think so. There is still a good amateur dramatics group in Bray. They're very busy. But overall, I think you're right, because it's all about outlets. It's all about, if you want to act and you feel that need to act, the outlets before the advent of all these cheaper camera phones and even like DSLRs and stuff like that, and the editing software can fix a lot of that for you now.
Yeah, yeah, and it's gone very cheap compared to when it first came out. It was highly expensive,
exactly.
Whereas now it's cheap. You can literally download stuff for free and make a good movie on the same software.
Yeah, and it's just a case of taking the time and care. Just because it's easy to do doesn't mean you should do it quickly and without thought.
Yeah.
But it's just where the outlet is, because back in the day, if you wanted to act, where could you do it? Amateur dramatics. But like now, you can join No Wifi. You can join Dublin Filmmakers. You can just put up a post on FNI, just telling people who you are, and people can find you. And it's so easy if you persevere. It's easy, but it's not completely simple. You still need the drive, and you still need the focus to achieve what you want to achieve with it.
So, Brian, we'll wrap it up on this one. What is your message to anyone who wants to get involved in acting or filmmaking or writing?
I would think, well, for everybody, it's just do it. Just do it. Even if you have a grand idea to make a feature film. And I was talking to a guy there yesterday. I'm currently doing a train the trainer course and planning on doing workshops in introduction to filmmaking. But I was talking to a guy I met on that course. He says, I'd love to do acting and I have an idea for a feature film. I was like, great you have an idea for a feature film. Do you have an idea for a 1 minute film? Think of an idea for a 1 minute film, make that. And then build a little network around yourself, get the confidence to work up to that feature film. Because I think a lot of people think they would love to make a feature film, but how do you do that? Well, you make a 1 minute film, and then you make a 10-minute film, and then you work from there.
Build it up.
Don't be afraid, but it's that first step. Just go out and do it and find your people that can help you do it.
So that wraps up this episode. A big thank you to Brian Matthews Murphy for taking time out of his busy schedule to talk to me. If you've enjoyed the episode, please like it and share it with anyone who you think might be interested in its contents. We're back next Friday with a brand new episode. Until then, you've been listening to The Recluse's Cookbook, and I'm your host, Vinnie McHale.
My mother always told me that I had a splendid voice. In fact, I'd sing in opera if they'd give me my choice. I wrote to Oscar Hammerstein that I would be his star. He said, come down and sing for me, and I'll see how good you are. And I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months. No, I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months. I sang the wise old owl, and he left the room at once. So I don't suppose I'll do it again for months and months and months.